Just a short episode this week to give you a status update on the wiring. So I've got the dash actually wired up. It's not tidied up, but it looks pretty good. So let me show you what the dash looks like from the driver's perspective, and then we'll go and look at the back of the dash panel. So here we have the dash panel. You can see I've mounted all the instruments. They're all a bit cock askew, that's fine. It's just in there to see what it all looks like. I've got the button here for the adjustment of the speedo, the odometer, and to program it. I've got a little indication here where the gear position indicator will be. Obviously the key here. And I've got the switches here and the gauges on the other side. So let's have a look at the back of the dash panel and see how that fits into the car. So here I have the back of the dash panel. You can see the instruments, the tacho and speedo over here, and the three individual gauges here. You can see they're all wired up, but not really loomed yet. The wires are just more or less loose. Here are the Deutsch connectors that I've wired in. I've labeled them, and the switch wiring at the back here. I've thinned out the connectors here to include only the wires that I used. That helped a lot. And obviously there's a lot of labels and what have you going on so that I know how to hook it up. What I'm going to do now is to look at the top of the ECU panel over here. Here I will have a fuse box and relay box, and that will communicate to these connectors here so that the switches will go through a relay. They'll be fused before it goes out to whatever it's controlling. For example, the headlights, the high beams, the reverse motor, and the wipers. So let's have a look at what I've done there. So everything here just looks like a mess at the moment. This is the fuse box and relay box that I've got. You can see there, I've got 4 fuses for the reverse, main, lights, high beam lights, and the wiper motor. And this is all wired up at the back. There's a lot of wire, slack wire, that can all be thinned out. I've put some terminal posts in here for the constant 12 volt from the battery and the earth. Obviously the battery will be over here. I'll wire this in to the battery terminal, and then from here it will go to the starter motors and the reversing motors and the power supply on the loom. But I wanted to have it in a single place where I could easily get to it. This box here is for the security module. I won't install that for the time being. I'll just wire things to bypass it. And this will go here. This hole here is where the loom goes through into the chassis, and the ECU will fit up here. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to start looking at putting on the connectors over here to connect what I've wired here to the dash itself. Okay, I'll put the ECU panel into the car, and I've just placed the battery holder and you can see the fuses and the security module. It's getting there. Obviously when I add the wiring loom, it's going to become a fair bit busier, but at least all the wiring for the car itself, the lights, wipers, reverse motor, are all there. They need to be hooked up, but we're getting there. So as I said before, next is to start on the connectors and get all the wires that I have there wired in, get them cut to length so I can reduce the length of a lot of these wires, and have all that ready before I start putting in the bike loom. Okay, here we have the ECU panel somewhat wired. I've put the loom in place. There needs to be a little bit of adjustment. I've unsheathed some of it. Looks like I will have to do a little bit more because I need to get a little bit more wire in around the engine to the coils and the injectors and to the various sensors. At the moment I've got this amount slack, so I might have to put that join actually underneath the ECU panel and run just the ECU connectors directly up on top of the ECU panel. So there's a little bit more to go. A lot of it is just figuring out where to put the wires and then putting them in place tying them down so that I can hook everything up, and hopefully everything will fit. So that's all I'm going to do for this week. Next week, hopefully I'll make some more progress on that. I'll wire in various peripherals and start testing the wiring.